get super still and listen to your heart.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit Hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Hello and welcome to the Hopefulist. I hope you are ready for your daily dose of inspiration and positivity. And today's quote of the day, again, from Dr. Martin Luther King. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. So many good quotes from Dr. King, right? It's not been hard at all to find quotes for the day throughout this week. And they're all so good. So good. I came up with this question of the day today because I saw it on somebody else's Facebook feed. And they said apparently this was a big debate on Twitter. And it's something I never really even thought about. In fact, when I thought about it, I really couldn't even picture the answer until I got into the shower a little later on and thought, oh, okay, now I know what I do. Do you face the water while you're showering, or do you turn your back to it? Now, they say that it's better to have your back to it because there's a smaller chance of bacteria spreading that may be coming out of the water. That's what they say. That's what I heard. I'm just passing it along. When I did shower, I did realize I do face the water almost the entire time. The only time I turn around is when I'm soaping up my front and to rinse my back. The rest of the time, I'm facing forward. That's right. How about you guys? Well, Jim says I start with the face, and then I end up in the back. Lisa says mainly back to it unless I'm rinsing my front. Michelle says she turns her back to it. Denise says both. Got to get both sides clean. Well, I get both sides clean. I certainly rinse all over. Marcy says turn my back except when I'm washing my face. Morgan says both, but mainly face it. Lori says mostly away until I'm rinsing off the front parts. Andrew says both unless my back hurts. You know, that's a great point. You know, I've been experiencing some back, shoulder, and neck pain recently. And boy, does that feel good when you get in the shower and it's just pounding on those parts that are sore. Oh, my goodness. Joe says both. Depends on what I'm washing. Kevin says I face the water. We've got a lot of people saying both. John says his water hits the back. Emily says both, and Connie also says both. So it looks like both is the answer, even though, again, I consider that cheating because it's an either-or question, and both is not an acceptable answer. You should know this about me by now. I do not like the getting around the question, but in this case, it's a little bit different because you likely do both. When I say, do you like corn on the cob or off the cob, you can't say both. It's one or the other. I mean, I know you can like them both, but you have to like one more, right? Just pulled that out as an example for you. So moving on to the topic of the day, we are talking about being and getting still. Take that time to get still. Now, I tried meditation a few years back. I gave it a good go. I was committed to it for a good 6 months. I remember I did it before I even got up out of bed. Set a timer. I tried to do it for about 10 minutes. Did that for about 6 months. And even after all of that time, it seemed more of a chore to me than any benefits I may have been receiving. But I wonder now, was I only focusing on the chore? Was I even looking for any benefits I may have been getting? Did I truly examine if my life had changed or improved in any way? No, I really didn't. And honestly, it wasn't long after that I realized I had started down my path to hopefulness. So maybe I should give it another try. Meanwhile, I have found other ways to be still, to let my heart tell me what it wants me to hear. I'm lucky to live close to the beach. It is the one place I can still go where I don't feel the need to have something to do at all times. And boy, is that important in our lives right now. We have this need, this constant need to be doing something. Coming from the girl who picks up her book in between shows while the commercials are running, because I can't stand to be bored for one single second. Now, the beach is pretty empty this time of year, which gives me plenty of time to walk, sit, stare at the waves, and usually take a million pictures. It's also great in the summer. I do often take a book, but I don't need it. I love to just watch the waves roll in. I love the sound of them crashing as they break. It's my form of meditation. I can and have just sit there for hours taking in the sights and sounds. This is in the summer, of course. My morning routine consists of reading the goal of what I want my life to look like in a few years. I've told you to do this, write it down. And I have made this so exciting that I can't wait to read it every morning. It's about a page long in my little journal. It's not a typical size notebook. It's smaller. And there are days that, yes, I skim right through it without really visualizing it. And then there are days like today that I read a part that just hits me and it puts a big smile on my face. I will have an amazing tub to relax in every night. That part gave me a big smile today because I miss taking baths. I really don't like my tiny little tub. It's not enough water for me. So this is something I really want, a nice giant tub that I can immerse myself in completely, aside from my head. Part of projecting your future is to see yourself living as your future self. But I digress. After reading that, I move on to my gratitude journal and write down my 10 most important goals I'm working toward. This puts me in the right mindset for the day. What would be even better is to have a few minutes to get still or even to journal to see where my heart and mind are for each particular day. It would probably be a good idea to add a few minutes to quiet my mind because, trust me, it is really loud in there. I read that people beginning meditation should start with 3 to 5 minutes. That's it. We can all get 3 to 5 minutes to get quiet and still, can't we? Even just to test it out. Don't focus on how uncomfortable it is. Focus on any and every benefit you may be getting from it. Any benefit from 5 minutes a day is well worth pursuing. I know the biggest problem is we don't like being still. We're afraid. We don't want things to come up that we don't want to think about. We fear pain will be the result of letting our mind wander. Honestly, so many of us are afraid to acknowledge what is lurking deep inside us because it can be painful. And it likely will be painful at times. But if thoughts keep coming up, it's likely because you haven't dealt with them. And maybe it's time to do that. Once you get through that pain and deal with it properly, will go away and stop coming back to haunt you. Because would you rather deal with a little bit more pain now or the pain of being haunted for years to come? Yes, I must practice what I preach in this particular scenario as well. All a work in progress. We are all a work in progress. Can we all commit to giving it a go? 3 minutes. Sit still for 3 minutes. Doesn't sound so bad, does it? I'll give it a go if you do. Oh my, it is Thursday already. Go on out there and be badass today. I'm here cheering you on.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit Hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.
Be still.